another political podcast. Come together and yap with us.
Hello, yappers. We're here again to talk about the stupidest things that have happened in politics and that surrounding this week. Joining me is my friend Scott from the YouTube channel Opinions No One Cares About.
Hello, YouTube.
I'm hoping our friend Vanessa is going to join us, so I'm going to save some of the kind of juicier stuff for later.
Sure.
Let's start with just a random bit of hope. Imagine that. There's just been some protesters that have been mostly organized through discords in Madagascar that
Yeah.
have managed to overthrow their government. Their lawful president is in exile right now because he fears for his life. Not that that's ever a good thing, mostly, but
Yeah, right.
this is maybe
Is that
a sign of
Madagascar?
hope that if things get as stupid as possible, just a bunch of average Gen Zers doing mostly peaceful protesting can take over a country, along with a couple of good special forces units that
Right.
have also turned against the government.
Was that a reference on purpose? Because they're talking about an anime pirate flag. I'm pretty sure that's One Piece, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't really follow that much anime, but like you're talking about an anime pirate flag. I'm like, that's the only one I can think of that involves pirates. But maybe the kids are all right, you know?
I would like to hope so. Let's, for the most part, what we have to talk about is downhill from here. But little bits of hope. I guess that can kind of lead into this piece about we've got the No Kings protests coming up in pretty much every major or minor city in the U.S. on Saturday. Check your local listings. But the picture I've got here is specifically because Mike Johnson had labeled this as the Hate America rally, and that, quote, it will be Antifa people and the Hamas wing of the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, he's half right. Antifa does mean anti-fascist. No one ever seems to throw that back at him. Like, are you saying you're anti-fascist? Because we all know math. We know what cancels out.
A double negative is proof positive.
No, negative. Are you saying they're photographs?
But it's just like the mischaracterization of this stuff. I mean, there was already one of these in June. It was overwhelmingly peaceful protests. This time, especially being close to Halloween and what's been going on in Portland, Oregon, I can't wait to see all of the displays of different Halloween costumes, especially the inflatables. I had seen at my local Spirit Halloween that they had an inflatable penis. And at first, when I saw it as a Halloween costume, I was like, who would ever wear this? And then I contemplated, do I wear this to the No Kings protest with a sign that says average ICE agent? And then it becomes a thing that you could actually use. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it was a thought that crossed my mind. I
don't know about that for the
can't
average.
wait to see stuff.
Right. I don't know about that for the average ICE agent, but like that picture people have been circulating of like the Texas National Guard showing up in Chicago. Like if that's your average ICE agent, like they look like they should be there. They look like they just walked off the set of SNL Superfan sketch. Hey, you know what? I'm waiting on my Antifa check too. What the hell?
Yeah, this our last episode was sponsored by Antifa. I was promised some Bitcoin in advance, and I didn't receive mine. So I'd like to reach out right here and now to the Antifa Treasury Secretary to pay your people.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Orange autocratic. I mean, yeah.
Yes, Norman. Okay.
And she always automatically wears a cross when she's up there talking because she doesn't want it to burst into flames, touching her skin.
Yeah, I really like that theory that that's why she sometimes doesn't wear the cross. If she has to tell a big enough lie, she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't wear the cross that day. So speaking of people that talk to the media, one of the things I wanted to talk about was how every major news outlet, except for OAN, One American News, a very right wing news organization, has resigned their press passes with the new Pentagon media policy where they have to clear any story coming out of the Pentagon with the Pentagon
Mm-hmm.
before they can take it to publish, and that's so against the First Amendment that even the Fox Newses, the fakest of newses there, said no.
Even fake news is yeah. I don't know how they
I
square
am
that away. Like I have just haven't forgotten. They got they have testimony like on video from I forget how many of their quote unquote journalists saying that they knew that the stuff they were saying about the 2020 election was bullshit, and they went along with it anyway. So you have to wonder how they even still get to broadcast. But then, like, no, they're going to stand up for the truth in this case. It's like this whole thing where Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be making her baby face turn. Everything's just going just haywire.
she has gone so far to the right that she's come all the way back around on at least
Yeah.
a fraction of issues. Like, it's really weird the like how it's the people that have been the most extreme on the right are actually finally coming back around and being like, okay, we've reached our limit, where the administration has finally passed us and gone further to the right than we are,
Yeah.
and we're pretty effing far to the right. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I find this. I'm after the media really just kind of rolling over to a lot of the things that have happened, and capitulating to
And
like
over
stuff in
and
Gaza,
over.
which we'll get into in a little while. Um, that they would hold strong, and for the most part, with exactly one holdout that everybody saw coming, banded together and had a solidarity on this.
You love to see it, even though it rarely happens.
Yeah, and then like yeah, so we were just talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then you got Fetterman, this like the furthest right Democrat, and like
Yeah.
10 years ago, that's who I wanted. That's my current U.S. representative, Democrat Jared Golden, um,
Mm-hmm.
who often breaks with the Democrats, and that's what I used to like about him. But it's on the wrong things, and I'm not as enamored with him as I once was.
Yeah, I get that.
And Fetterman's kind of doing the same thing in the Senate. He's been a weird dude and like a loose cannon from the beginning. Like way more so than Cinema and who's the dude out of West Virginia?
Mansion.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that we know that, So I feel like more people should be involved or should be knowledgeable about their government. But then, like, if I really thought about it, most of the people I know of that are like serving government centers are the ones that are doing all the bad things.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna get into we've definitely got the people in government doing bad things to talk about. I'm just hoping that Vanessa joins us before we get to them, because there's a couple of major pieces. Um, so as far as other minor news, like I had mentioned last week, that Alex Jones here had appealed to the Supreme Court to have his Sandy Hook money not have to be paid, and they denied hearing his case. And
What a
I'm
shame.
not all that surprised, but these days, like you absolutely never know. This Supreme Court is it is something for sure.
Yeah, because they got something else that's like they just on the docket where they're gonna taking a crack at a pretty significant part of the Voting Rights Act, and it's all so ridiculous. There's this whole part of it where, let me see if I remember this. It's over voting districts in Louisiana, some of which are like majority black. And there's a whole thing where the Voting Rights Act provides for that because you're not allowed to, you know, set up a whole voting district and discriminate against any particular race. But I believe the justification here from the people who brought the case is like, well, now this is reverse discriminating against us because we're white. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Call it a hunch. Am I lagging this badly? Crap. Whoa, I don't know. You switched to the screen now. I can't hear you.
Oh no, I guess I had it muted. I was gonna say Alex Jones is frozen worse than you are, so you're okay. You're just fine.
Must have got to hold that stuff that turns the friggin' frogs gay.
I mean, have you seen these ICE protesters in Portland? He was right. They turned the frogs gay. We've got the gay frog brigade stopping ICE from kidnapping people off the streets.
Exactly.
Like, I can't remember the woman's name, but
Frogs.
they detained a U.S.-born clarinet player from a band.
Yeah, I just
and
heard
they were
that,
all
yeah.
wearing like banana peel costumes protesting, and she was just
Wow.
happened to be in the way when they were chasing down somebody else. And when they bowled over her, then they arrested her too for some reason.
Sure,
ICE
something like
is,
impeding the officer in the course of their investigation or whatever.
but then also she hasn't been charged. They've been holding her, and there's no public charges being filed. So, yeah, that's not good. In other ICE fuckery news, they shot this dog. So they went to this dude's house in El Paso, Texas, to because a previous owner had been illegal and wanted to search it. And the dude was even like, you can search my house. I don't have anything to hide. Just, I'm going to put my dog in the bathroom because he's a little aggressive. And when they went into his house, within 2 minutes, they opened the door to the bathroom and then shot the dog and then just hightailed it out of there. So, rest in peace, Chop.
Sure, why not? Look at dog Chop. Over my dog.
It's some
And
unfathomable
I don't know.
stuff.
It's like they're
how
so
we're
happy
here.
or something. Just doesn't stop.
Yeah. Running out of the small things to talk about. Here's always a fun one. This youth pastor, which had
Oh no.
there we go. Fine. This youth pastor, which already had 30 charges of child SA on him, now gets another 30 charges. And if you look in this picture, this is a dude who was up on stage at one point with Eric Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle at a CPAC conference as a musician. This just kind of shows you the average person and thinking in the MAGA crowd. The ones that have been calling everybody that's not them pedophiles for like the last decade, and now it turns out that like half the MAGA crowd are freaking pedophiles. It's just, Hello, Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm almost certain at this point because I know I've heard somebody say
I came in
Vanessa,
the perfect time.
You sure
Oh my
did.
right?
God.
Like, I'm almost
60
I've heard it
SA
I heard-
charges by a youth pastor. It's a great time to be alive, truly.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
considering who they're in alignment with, this is my surprise Pikachu face. Just- like these are the type of people that rally the hardest against queer folks and people of color and all of that, and of course this is the shit they're up to and the kinds of people they protect. So I'm not shocking whatsoever. It's really like with these people that rally so hard against them because their mental real estate is taken up by these people so completely, like they're so obsessed with it. It's like it's just a matter of when, not if, they're going to be charged with something fucked up.
Exactly. Like I know I've heard somebody say somewhere like they could go out or they could just open up Google every day and Google pastor sexual abuse case, and they're like a new one will pop up every day. So we got like an average going. That's great.
All right, now that Vanessa's here, we can get into some of the chunkier bits of media from the past week. Let's start with the peace agreement in Gaza. Another one of Donald Trump's supposed wars that he's stopped. I mean, this makes 8 now.
It's just it's all like a lot of politics, especially geopolitics. It's all about optics. Once the siege began and pictures of starving children and starving adults started to leak out, in spite of the fact that Israel is determined to unalive journalists, that started to be bad optics, and that's when you had people on both sides of the aisle, which is whatever, say this doesn't look very good. We need to do something. And so you have this photo op and a big bunch of people there, and they're signing this paper, and of course you see how many Palestinians up there.
Sorry, Josh.
It's like I love when people make decisions about me when I'm not in the room.
Yeah, I mean this peace signing was just it was a bunch of it was a jerk off session between a bunch of the major powers.
Yeah, because this is a big real estate deal essentially.
That does seem to be it, though. It's going to take decades to clean up what's happened just in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. There's already people who are returning to their homes and figuring out how to make it habitable. No thanks to Israel, of course. But this is an ecological infrastructure disaster on a scale I don't think people really understand. Like Gaza itself is just an area within Palestine, and you see the area that they're going back to. It's even smaller than it was when this whole war started. And of course, like the terms are that Hamas gives up all the hostages and where's all the hostages from Israel? The thousands of them that have been there since they were children. Like,
I mean, they did release like 1,900 hostages to the 28, I believe, that Hamas released alive, and they've still they're returning some bodies that aren't even the people that were missing.
Mm-hmm, because
so that's weird, but I mean, it's
like
what it is
they're trying to figure out where these people are in the rubble. It's like
right. That is
It's
probably a big part of it. I mean, Israel has destroyed almost everything within Gaza. I
yeah,
mean, it was an open air prison to begin with that had some structures, and now it's just an open air prison
right.
without really anything
And
but like
and
destroyed landscape and unexploded ordnance.
yes. And now you're telling people that are besieged, starving, and without a home to cough up these bodies and dig through rubble to find what they believe to be the hostages, which are, by the way, they're POWs. These aren't just like random people that they just abducted. It's just like the framework that they're using is just manufacturing consent in advance. We disappeared.
The heck? This isn't a trick. What happened? What's with the chronotons? Crap.
All right, we're back.
I mean, we're
I
already
think.
getting threats of violence from Netanyahu and Trump for
Well,
not.
here's
Yeah,
yeah. I just saw a couple hours ago. There was this afternoon. Trump gave a speech where he said that uh, we'll put American boots on the ground if Hamas continues killing people. Even though I had already heard that Netanyahu had, and like the Israelis, had already killed a handful of people since the
yeah,
ceasefire took place. So
right. And what's a
I
ceasefire in an occupied land where they're, just they're getting very limited access to food and have lived under occupation for the past 80 years? Like, what does that even mean? It's just like, we'll just stop bombing for now until we come up with a reason to continue doing it. That's really what it is.
that's what it kind of sounds like. More like until Netanyahu like provokes enough and prods and chips away enough, and
Mhm.
then just goes, and then they respond, and then Trump's like, "Okay, we're sending in the U.S. military to finish the
Right.
job." Cool.
Yeah.
I can't
Hmm.
wait. That's and it's not even good.
Oh.
It's not even a fair fight at that point.
No,
Not that it was to begin with, but
no, they have our military
yeah,
dollars, which makes it impossible. Like, it's just ridiculous. And of
Realize
course,
what this is.
part of this like allyship with these surrounding countries is strategic, so that they don't help Palestine when that does eventually happen. So you have isolated these folks from having any recourse, which, by the way, they're fully within their right to respond. Uh, you know, but the framework is going to be anti-Semitism. They're in the wrong, and let's final solution it. But of course, they wouldn't call it that.
Right. It seems sadly like a bad mirror version of DS9, where Palestine is the Bajorans and we Americans as Starfleet are coming in on the side of the Cardassians.
I mean, we want to get into this. Like, DS9 is essentially based off of this.
yeah. It was one of the things. Even
Yeah.
Ira Stephen Bear years ago had
Yeah,
been interviewed and said that yeah, that was like one of the things that influenced the Bajor Cardassian aspects.
right. So it's like almost like a wishful thinking of like a post occupation, and ironically, it was also about an 80-year occupation by the Cardassians on Bajor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, it's been just shy of 80 years since the state of Israel's existed.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that are
You know,
older
so-
than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's
It would be great, like peace, actual peace, like this peace. Like, is that real? Is that a real thing? Real banner?
it
that
has
they put up
never
there?
been in the history of human civilization. There's
mean,
no peace in the Middle East. There probably never will be.
Here's the thing.
It's a fallacy to think that there's
That's
going
not
to
true. There was plenty of peace. It was like, but then we had the Crusades, and then we have Nakba. It's usually white Europeans going, you know what? I think we really like the weather here, and we just kind of want to have our own neighborhood. And these brown people are kind of in the way, so we're just gonna like come up with a biblical reason. Like, imagine if somebody came to your house and said, you know, I read Clifford the Big Red Dog, and the house in there kind of looks like my house, so I'm gonna come in here and take your house, and you know, because the big dog, you know, and just like, because it's like you can't even conceive of it because it's just so absurd, and these people have to live with that shit every single day, like this like ridiculous thing. And it would be fine because like prior to this, Jewish folks and you know, Palestinians lived side by side. It was like the gateway to the world. The Levant, you know, is like a a crib of civilization for a reason. It was a major port where like food and ideologies and religions and languages, you know, were sort of like swapped around freely. Like, sure, there was, you know, conflict, of course, but like overall coexistence was not impossible. It's really
Well, I'm
like
not.
it's European interests that create the conflict, at least on this
I
scale.
mean, yes and no. Just like, can I see that there's a dynamic or was a dynamic, and it could have been possible within Israel, Gaza, West Bank, that whole situation. Is it possible? Sure. I was generalizing with the Middle East because somewhere there is always going to be a conflict in the Middle East.
I mean, there's conflict here. That
Sure.
You know, that it's as you can see, it's really like there's a provocation of violence, and then there's a response to violence, and then there's a characterization of like, oh well, that's just a violent place. And so I think it would be unfair to say that that region specifically is especially violent. It's just like a proportionate response to being provoked constantly.
It's just that over the last 80 years, like, I have no problem with the state of Israel.
Yeah.
But I have a problem that over those 80 years, all they've done is usurp land from everywhere around them and claimed it as their, like, given birthright, and just pushed people out, and then pushed around all of the major governments in the world for some reason, and cried and whined until they got their way.
That's
And
Zionism.
they've been doing this for 80 years.
Zionism and the American war machine go hand in hand, because then we have a consistent customer for all of our weapons, because we don't do the thing where we go to war anymore. We have,
but they haven't even been a customer. Israel, we've just given them weapons for most of that 80 years.
Mm-hmm. Because it is a foothold in the region for resources and real estate, and so it is a political gain to secure that area. Like, that's why you have AIPAC going so hard to reach out to politicians, because they want to, because the Zionism and the American political interests go hand in hand. Because that's just the cycle that's been going on and on, you know.
That's why, even though half of Republicans just hate Jews because of, like, you know, 1930s Germany kind of reasons, and half of Democrats hate Jews because they've been overreaching and things like we've been talking about. But yet all the leadership on both of those sides have been in the pockets of Israel. It blows my mind that, like, so many people, for one reason or another, don't like Israel, either as a government or a people.
Well,
yet our politicians capitulate so easily.
Yeah. It's and the thing is, like, it's unfortunate because, like, if we freed ourselves of that, if we freed ourselves of those interests, what is that feedback? Is that Scott? The clicky. Sorry.
Oh, the clicking?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's me clicking.
Yeah.
I can change that. I thought it was thought there was a buzzing with my dog who's not snoring but sounds like it.
Yeah.
I do kind of hear something. That might be it.
Yeah. It's
Anyway.
It's unfortunate because it's our government's rhetoric that conflates Judaism with Israel, because they're not the same thing. I don't believe that Israel represents every Jewish person. That's ridiculous. It's a government that has sort of sequestered itself and created a people that have there's no punishment for anything that they've ever done, and they continue to do it because they know they can get away with it. They even had a pro-rape rally because somebody said, hey, there's some Palestinians that have been raped, and they're like, you can't punish us for that. They're completely immune to any consequences for their actions. And the thing is, like, if Israel gets tried in the International Court of Law, then America will soon follow. And if we really go down the list of the things that America has done, and not just with Israel as a proxy, but America itself, our interventions in the world, every president and everybody who has aided and abetted those presidents would be locked up for life, to be generous. Like so Israel can't fall, because that would be the first domino.
That's fair.
I don't. Yeah. So it's like one of those too big to fail things. I don't agree with it at all, though. AIPAC and all of that needs to get their bloody, dirty hands out of everything. But like, I see the scheme going on, the machinations of like why we're involved there, but it's 100% wrong. And that's why you see like liberals even like bending backwards. You saw, I remember Cory Booker did an interview recently with 2 women podcasters, and they're like, they couldn't even get him to say it was a genocide. They couldn't even get him to say that.
No, nobody on either side will ever admit that.
Mm-mm. Or if they do, they always say, but Hamas, as though Hamas just spun up out of nowhere, as though it's not a response to Israel's occupation. Like that's the rhetoric that they have to keep hammering. That these folks deserve it.
Speaking of rhetoric and Hamas, we had already kind of talked about this, but I'm going to use it as a segue into the next big thing. That Mike Johnson had said that the No Kings rally this weekend, it's just it's the pro Hamas wing of the Democrat Party, and the Antifa people, which we know isn't a real thing, but I want that to take us into the big thing that's happened in the last couple of days, where Politico has leaked these logs from the Young Republicans. And some of that is exactly that. It's these very anti-Semitic and offensive and racist pieces.
And backed by the vice president, so you know where his loyalty lies.
Yeah, I actually have the only clip I have today. I will play that now. Is J.D. Vance's response to these logs being released, and it's mind blowing. I mean, Scott, you had said one of the guys that's implicated in this is a senator in your state.
Yep, Vermont state senator.
And even your Republican governor called for him to resign.
That is true.
But what did J.D. Vance do? Let's have a look at what J.D. Vance would do.
Focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat. Grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And at some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS.
Yeah.
He's so full of shit. I mean, people get in trouble for having that stupid chubby face picture of him. You know? Like,
I've got a great one of those.
that couch fucker has no room to talk about, like, having a sensitivity to jokes. And by the way, what's the joke? What's the joke?
This is the joke.
I'm not. That's a good one.
That's a really good one. Of my favorite things ever. The JD Vance Goes to Iceland meme, cranked up to 11 with his like big, overdone baby face holding Trump's necklacy.
Thrusty. Somebody said recently that it was a real act of defiance to use that picture of Trump because it shows his age in a realistic fashion. It shows his receding hairline. It shows his neck in a really unflattering way. Yeah. I would recommend anybody take a look at pictures of Trump without makeup. He looks completely different. Like, there's a reason why he makes himself orange, because he looks blue without it. Translucent, because he is white AF.
Yeah, I mean he's Biden.
Oh, and the ear. And the ear. That's the cherry on top. Look at the ear. There's nothing there.
It's fine. That's fine.
And he doesn't ever talk about it, does he? Does anybody? No, he
doesn't. And that's the biggest giveaway that it was faked.
He does every once in a while.
Right.
I've been going to the gym for months now, and I actually purposely, because they've got like all the screens, I watch Fox News. I force myself to watch Fox freaking News while I'm on the treadmill. It's actually perfect because then I just don't really remember that I'm doing the treadmill because I'm so angry. So it really works. Plus, I learned the stupid things that Republicans are mad about this week. I've actually watched 2 Trump press conferences in the past week, and both of them are something that were supposed to be serious, and he like attacks his perceived enemies as usual randomly, and says like just the stupidest stream of conscious stuff possible.
So like he may refer to it because that was the thing that got him elected, right? You know, he has to, bloviate about his heroism or whatever, but like what about the details? Like
there was one the other day where he was hyping himself up and like talking about he pointed to pictures in the room of Washington and Lincoln, and like, some would say I'm the best president, maybe not as good as Lincoln and Washington, but at least third, but probably first. And he's jerking himself off, and he's like got Newt Gingrich there, and he's like, Newt, you'd agree with me, wouldn't you? Oh, but you don't agree on that, so you're not that good, Newt. And it's the stream of consciousness thing. It so doesn't work when you're the actual president of the United States. It comes off just so freaking weird.
Yeah. It just sounds like a rambling person. Like it just sounds like someone on the bus.
No chance.
With a drink in a bag, just yapping. And it's like just the person on the bus that just won't shut the fuck up, and they're just talking. They're just not talking to anybody. They're just talking. But like about those texts, like the fact that he infantilizes them is so expected. They're kids. They're full-grown ass adults that can vote.
Most of these dudes are in their 30s or late 20s.
Yeah. Kids. Children. These are people that are, potentially going to be, I mean, they're as much of a child as Charlie Kirk was, right?
Yeah.
And JD said that on Charlie's show, the same place where he was advocating for people to be punished for saying bad things about Charlie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how long will it still be the Charlie Kirk show before they actually call it the JD
The
Vance
JD
show?
Vance show. Yeah.
And like, if you read these texts, like, okay, you know, sure, anybody, like edgy jokes, you know, fine, but like, where's the joke? What's the haha? You know, like, I'm looking at this, ready to watch people burn now. Ha ha ha. If everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, hilarious. And it was voting no in order to be like a leader in the Republican whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is just I mean this is Republican humor. It's there
Yeah.
is no punchline. It's just say something racist and everybody laughs.
Right. Right. And like I remember like Charlie Kirk was also anti-Semitic himself. So that would fall in line with that and was pro-Israel. Like I really hope people that, you know, here, like I know that like a Zionist is probably just cooked in terms of their brain cells or whatever, but I just really hope that they're paying attention to how these people talk about them when they're not in the room. Like they don't give a fuck about you at all.
Yeah,
And
to
they want
tie
that
our
end.
side question to Trump back to this. So Trump just speaks in a stream of consciousness. And to me, this is the average Republican stream of consciousness in these texts. This is how they think on just a subconscious level. And you
Right.
know, it only comes out when it's in private with the people that you know. But
Mhm.
this is what they actually believe, and that's why I titled this thing
Yeah.
like, what is it with the Republicans? Why are they this way? It's all right here. This kind of ties into the guy here on my cover on the thumbnail. This is Representative Dave Taylor, and I didn't show the flag that he actually had in his office that they found, but it was a U.S. flag where the red stripes like folded in and became a swastika. So it was a swastika American flag in a sitting U.S. House of Representatives office in the Capitol.
Surprise.
Just the mask is slipping.
I mean, it slipped when, you know, Elon started heiling Hitler as soon as he got on stage. Like, it's really not hidden. I mean, the very first thing that Trump said when he started his campaign in 2016 or 2015 or whatever it was, he was like, you know, he was talking about Mexicans. It's like the mask has
Real
been,
bad hombres.
yeah, they're just like,
Something assume that you assume are good people.
yeah. And I just feel like they're getting worse at hiding it, but the mask has always been off, you know. I mean, like the thing is, what I find interesting about like Hitler fanboyism is that Hitler killed himself. You know, he lost. Like he didn't like go to an island with hot babes and like, you know, live it up at the end. He died in a bunker alone with his girlfriend.
What are you talking about? He's still to this day living in Argentina.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that place that we just gave $20 billion to during a government
I
shutdown.
heard they put up
We
shit.
don't have money to pay our people,
and he had-
but
did you
we
see
have
that?
money for Argentina.
Did you see any of that concert?
Oh, that the president of Argentina did. Yes, I saw some snippets.
That dude's insane.
That's okay. He calls himself a libertarian. I call myself a libertarian, but we are not the same.
I just, I mean, it was just a grotesque display because you got the money and immediately you put on this huge concert, which clearly came from that money as like a vanity thing. It was, I remember like earlier this year, Trump put out an AI generated video where he was like Elton John or something, where he was
I don't
like the
remember that
star
one,
in a
but
concert.
I'm sure he did, but
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, no, he
The-
did, and he put it on his own Twitter, whatever the hell it is, the Truth Social.
Truth.
It feels like that in real life. It's just so grotesque. But yeah, I it's like GOP waving Nazi paraphernalia. It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, we're in a time where people are being kidnapped for standing there taking a picture, or being a person of the cloth, or being a person of color at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, since time immemorial. I'm not surprised at all.
For my Star Trek people, we are at the point where the Dominion is on Terok Nor, and Kira has to tell Odo, we are way past sorry.
Hmm.
I'm sure this is all because the Bell riots didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
This is Cisco's fault. He let Gabriel Bell die, and then
He
in our
lost his baseball
timeline,
somewhere.
he didn't think that he needed to then take over the role
Yeah.
of Gabriel Bell. So now
Yeah.
we're here.
Hmm.
And somehow our best hope is actually the governor of California that wanted the people in the sanctuary just nullified.
Right.
I'm mostly not serious about that. I really like Gavin Newsom's trolling of Trump, but he's also a terrible person that I would never ever vote for.
Yeah. And when also asked about APAC money, he's like, I don't know why we're talking about that. I don't know why. That's interesting that you would even bring that up. And it's like, you could just say no and end the conversation, but you refuse to. You know, y'all need to get your tongue out of Israel's ass and actually like be, you know, for the people that you govern. It's clear that he's like edging for that presidential spot, and because he's slick and he trolls Trump back, and he doesn't go high, he goes low, which in a way kind of meets the moment that people libs are just freaking out that someone actually like talks shit back to him.
Yeah, not even gonna lie, I would if I could.
Yeah. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Oh, nice scathing tweet. Like, it's just so pathetic. Yeah. I'm not a fan of presidency in general. I think it's all bullshit. I don't think anybody deserves that amount of power, but Pritzker, he is just objectively better.
Oh right, you've lived in the two states with the
Yeah.
two governors that have like the most to say right now.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones that Trump is targeting the most, and DC for that matter. But yeah.
So I guess I didn't have this on my docket, but let's kill the last 10 minutes of this thing, maybe talking about who is there in U.S. politics that could not save us, because nobody can save us right now, but coming out of this Trump administration, who is the person that you trust to turn it around the most, or be less like we are now? Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah.
There is no good answer to that question. Like, I would like to say the senator from Scott State, Bernie Sanders, but the
Me too,
man is far too old.
And he's also wishy-washy regarding he's a liberal Zionist himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's spoken out, but it's like he does this sort of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of thing. But I think it's a systemic issue. We need to have a system where we don't have uh, the ability for a dictator to rise to power. That needs to be addressed first. Because if we just elect somebody else, then we're just kicking the can down the road, and then somebody else who's dictatorial could go into that chair and just be in the oppressor's seat. We shouldn't have the ability for anybody to take rights within a term away from people.
Yeah, we
That's
Congress
technically weren't
definitely.
supposed to, but then a bunch of people came along and found all the little loopholes and wormed their way in, and now here we are.
it's actually not wormholes. That's the problem. A lot of it is just respect for the law, that people just assumed that the president would just respect the law, and they didn't really consider what would happen if they didn't.
And other than the occasional war crime, they
Right.
haven't. But,
Mhm.
Oh,
you
it's
know,
a
now
war
it's like
crime,
an
too.
everyday thing. Like
Yeah.
every president has
Yeah.
abused his power at some point or another, but
Mhm.
it's to the degree and how fucking often. Like
Yeah.
with Trump, every day is a new day of a fresh hell that you
Yeah.
don't know if he's going to send ICE agents and activate the National Guard from one state to invade another state, or if he did what he did today, which surprised the absolute hell out of me. I don't know if anybody saw this press conference, but I mean, along with quoting some fake numbers, he promised that he had made deals with the makers of IVF drugs, which was one of the promises in his campaign to bring down the price of IVF and maybe even make it free, which I know is a big part of the Republican platform because them women's, they got to be making more of them babies.
Great.
But knowing people that have had trouble having children and want to have children, and it's a very long and expensive process.
Mhm.
I mean, this was another one where he claimed, "Oh, we're gonna save people 800, 600, 500%." So I mean, now these drug makers are gonna be paying you to do IVF apparently,
Mhm.
which
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Let's
don't.
have a let's say he goes through that. Then women can have all the babies they want, and then they can go ahead and die from easily preventable diseases because vaccines are bad.
And
And
of course,
Tylenol is bad.
if the pregnancy goes awry, if the baby is stillborn, if you have an ectopic pregnancy, you're
Ooh.
fucked. You can't
Then you should
like,
die of sepsis because you can't have the little fucker sucked out of you.
or you go in, and because you're a black woman, you're told like, oh well, this thing that we could give you medication for or treatment for, this totally treatable thing, we're not going to deal with that, and then you're brain dead, and then you're hooked up to machines for fucking months, racking up hospital bills while you're in a coma so that your dead body can have a dead baby
Can be an
extubated out of
incubator.
it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happened to that woman in was it
Adriana Smith,
Mississippi?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that
yep.
she was like 6 weeks pregnant. So then
Mhm.
they
Which
kept
is
her
like
alive
nothing. That's like
for
nothing.
another like 38 weeks or whatever the bare minimum was to get to delivery age, and then charged the family for it that
Yeah, of
didn't
course.
want it.
Hmm. And the thing is, like, as a person with a uterus, I cannot tell you how soon in a pregnancy, like, you barely even know at that point. Like, that's like one missed period, and sometimes like it takes a while. It takes like within the first, you could go your first trimester without knowing, because some people
Yeah.
have irregular periods. Like, it's just ridiculous that like 6 weeks, 6 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
there are women who don't know they're pregnant until they go into labor. There was like a show about it on TLC for a
Yeah,
while.
I didn't know I was
Mhm.
pregnant. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the some people have, and like ever, like, women just generally, your hormones change over time, and your frequency of periods and when they come up, it alters drastically throughout your life. Some people are, you can set your watch to it. Some people, it varies, and it's like, to like put laws around that, is just so batshit crazy. And and it ties to everything, right? Like in Gaza, you're bombing pregnant people as they're giving birth. They're giving birth without anesthesia, clearly not giving a fuck about pregnant people over there. So I just don't buy that Trump is like doing this out of the good of his heart. It's the great white replacement theory. This is like Lieben, this is like Nazi Germany, white women, please have babies for us. Or
Basically,
other,
the head of the boys of Brazil.
yeah, or other people, you need to make babies so we can have people to pack prisons with. That's really what it is. It's so depressing.
Well, that's a way to wrap up. Let's do you guys have anything from the news in the past little while that you want to throw out there and talk about with a few minutes left?
I think there was one bright spot where like the president of MIT decided that she wasn't going to go along with the administration's rules, like restraining higher education. I was happy about that, especially since it's MIT, because Trump's always bragging about how his uncle is a professor at MIT for decades.
Yeah. There's a lot of resignations of people in the press from the White House. It looks like they were asked to sign a pledge, and instead
The Pentagon. Scott and I talked about this a little bit
Oh,
before
okay.
you came on.
Oh, you
But
did?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Get your 2 cents.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I understand leaving, and I understand not signing the pledge to, of course, never do that. Like, that would be crazy. But also, it's like, when these people leave, like anybody leaves out of a government institution, the people that you leave behind have nobody to challenge them. That's the fear that I have. Like, even the folks, like, I understand why people would resign from NIH or the Health and Human Services and all of that, because they're being asked to do things that are out of alignment with their, principles. And that makes a lot of sense, or not just principles, but reality. But also, it's like, I hope somebody stays behind in order to be a source of counterinsurgents. Like, that's necessary. That's all.
Fair. I'm going to go on the other side of what Scott said and say something about education firings that, that's a negative, because the Department of Education fired basically the entire special ed services office. And out of the honestly, like, I know it's been like a big thing this year, like, oh, they're getting rid of the Department of Education. It doesn't do as much as you would think.
Maybe that's
on a federal level. State levels do a lot more. It's just about enforcing the federal minimum standards. And when it comes to special education, that was one of the biggest things that they did and brought to states and forced them to take care of the autistic kids and, all in your neurodivergent kids and the kids that had needed really serious help.
Not just serious help, but like people with, behavioral challenges, or, came from places where, they weren't being accommodated at home. And it's like, what a lot of people don't understand is, like, for children, going to school can be a break from your parents, can be a refuge from your parents. It's the one place where your needs are met. Where you're fed, and to take away accommodations to present
for the most vulnerable kids
to the most vulnerable is unconscionable, and it would make it impossible for some children to attend classes and like continue to learn and keep up. And I think that's an absolute travesty. It's an embarrassment. We have more than enough money to feed, clothe, and educate everybody in this country many times over. And the fact that we're here is disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the few things the federal government did well and right and distributed money. I mean, there's still people in that office, but kind of like what you said, there's got to be some people to get the next people in the future to do right by kids too. But fuck them kids. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the general uh, consensus, especially on the right. Education is not all
Mm-hmm.
that important as long as they know their one, two, threes and their ABCs. They're ready to go.
They're not even,
And
they don't even know that. That's the travesty too, is like literacy rates are going through the floor. Um, so even outside of special education, just,
you're not wrong.
because of the No Child Left Behind thing, this isn't just a Trump problem, but it's just tragic the direction that education's going in. But of course, Trump said himself, I love the tons.
Wow. We haven't had these kind of problems in a while, and now
Wow.
two in one night.
It's me. I
I
cursed
was
it.
I was just about to wrap this thing up anyway. I would like to thank you, Vanessa, and I would like to thank you, Scott, for joining me today
Hmm?
on this thing that we do.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it good because it's. I
Yeah.
feel like I have to talk about this tragic stuff because, like, if I don't, I'm going to go crazy. It helps me
That's
to
fair.
put my stream of consciousness out into the world, and I hope that helps somebody else. And I just generally enjoy talking about this
Yeah.
stuff, even though it's like it's tragic. It's every single week there's something new and absolutely stupid to talk about.
Yeah.
So, as long as we still have stupidity to talk about, we will be here. So, thank you all
Always
for
there.
joining me. Until we see you again, live long and